Large chunk of our audience are probably born after the 1990s who wouldn't be aware about what happened in the 90s, what Mumbai was.
The guys went on a rampage. They went and shot 101 businessmen in 1 year. That means every 3 days, 3.5 days, one businessman either in the office or in a car or anywhere was shot dead point blank.
Any big property which was bought or sold, the underworld had a cut in that. So how did that cleanup start happening?
Do you know even now they have it? Where did the gangsters go? They are all involved in SRA projects, which is multi-million, multi-lakh crore projects. I can name them. I can name the projects also. Mumbai mein biggest projects are owned by whoever it is. All of them, they have these gangsters consultants.
Tell me about that period where the absolute cruelty of Dawood Ibrahim was visible on the streets of Mumbai.
The ruthless thing which Dawood Ibrahim made himself unpardonable for Indians is that 12th March 1993 blast. His connection with ISI was thriving at that time. 4,000 kilos of RDX, 2,000 AK-47, 2,000 hand grenades and enough ammunition to bring the entire Mumbai on rubble.
Has he ever approached Mumbai Police to say, I want to come back?
Never. Daddy 1 and 2 made on Arun Gavli. Manya Surve's thing or shootout at Vadala, shootout at Lokhandwala, Mumbai once upon a time. If you've seen all that. Satya company, where my role was played by Mohanlal. So all that is to lift the image of the gangsters.
What is the interest that these guys have with Bollywood?
I know as an immigration officer, one of the topmost actors and 83 other musicians and actors went to Dubai to do an entertainment show for the daughter of Dawood Ibrahim.
26/11 Mumbai bomb blast happened. As a leader of a force, what did you feel?
Lack of anticipation, lack of preparation, lack of application of mind and lack of leadership.
Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching or listening to another edition of the ANI podcast with Smita Prakash. This episode is being filmed in Mumbai. My guest today is D. Sivanandhan, former IPS officer. Dhanush Kodi Sivanandhan retired as DGP Maharashtra in 2011. He's a former Mumbai crime branch head who's credited for wiping out the underworld menace in 1990s. He's written a book, The Brahmastra Unleashed, about the Mumbai gang wars and mafia. Dhanush Kodi Sivanandhan served as Additional and Joint Commissioner of Police Crime during the 1990 stints when the force went after the D Company and other mafia networks. Thank you, Mr. Sivanandhan, for coming on the show. Your book, very interesting read, so totally recommend it. I did a bit of it because I just got it yesterday, but I promise to have you back on my show, and if you have the time, we'll discuss more on this. Very interesting parts were, of course, I like the way you call them as heritage criminals, vintage gangsters. I like the word called vintage gangsters that you used for Karim, Lala, Haji Mastan and Varadarajan Mudlayar. And of course, read the portions of all these gangsters and their connections with Bollywood, with cricket. Those parts I read, which were very interesting too. Of course, a large chunk of our audience are probably born after the 1990s who wouldn't be aware about, what happened in the 90s, what Mumbai was. And that is where your Karyashali comes into focus. So tell me about when you came in here and you were entrusted this task to wipe out the underworld.
I'll come to this, madam, with your permission, if you agree. I will talk about this Gen Z and how they don't know about this. Can I take a minute of that?
Sure, absolutely.
This book, even though talks about the vintage crime, because I handled it in 1998, 2001, 2002 onwards, there has not been a shootout either by criminals or by the police. So even the generation next of the police officers, IPS and others don't know what is this violence all about. Blood flowing on the marble floor they never seen. Or so are the rich, high-heeled children whose parents have suffered, gone through the ignominy of some gangster stepping into their house and threatening them with a gun. So I have written this book to leave a kind of a legacy for the police officers in this generation and the next generation, so that in case this happens again and again, what should they do? So that is one. Second is to educate generation next as to what would happen if it repeats. Okay. Now, has it been completely wiped out in the country? Answer is no. For example, repeated attempts on Salman Khan, frightening him and thus frightening the entire Bollywood, says that this zoner of crime has not been forgotten. Okay. The other day, Disha Patni or Patani, her house in Bareilly, somebody fired on the walls.
Yeah.
Now, all these things are not as innocent as it sounds. And this is a signal. You pay, otherwise we'll go closer to your heart to shoot at the heart. For example, Rakesh Roshan was shot on the arm. It could have been 2 inches this side, it would be his heart. So this is all to frighten people and eke out money. Money in humongous amount. Abu Salam did, Izaz Lakdawala did, so many others. Now it is the turn of Lawrence Bishnoi. For all his projects all over the world, maybe he is funding and financing by targeting a soft underbellied thing called the Bollywood. So this book is not as vintage as we think. This is happening. For example, if you remember in Rohini of your Delhi, in the court, in front of everyone, a lawyer and others were shot dead. This is what precisely happened in Mumbai in the year 1983. 2 incidents with Dawood Ibrahim and his gang and the opposite. Through 2 weeks difference, 6th September 1983 was the first incident where 4 people were shot. And then after 2 weeks, the other gang was brought and they were shot. The gap is 6th to 20th, that is 16 days time. 14 days time. So that is repeating. We are not putting the dots are not linked, not connected. Like Chennai it happens, in Delhi it happens, Bangalore it happens. So this is not a forgotten affair at all. Yeah. So this book I have written more as a chronology of events as to what happened and what are the strategies I adopted to revert the to change the history of crime. And I'll come back to this later. But then what you asked is what's that you asked, ma'am?
As to when you came in and you were given this assignment. See, there's also this thing that the politician of the day, whoever is the home minister of the state or the chief minister, somebody has to say that, okay, there be zero tolerance. So let's get this officer and give him a free hand as to how he has to clean up. So unless both are in tandem, it doesn't work. And it worked in your case. You know, you had that backing, you were given that task, and you went ahead with it, knowing that your back is taken care of. So when you came in, who called you in and what was the assignment given to you?
Ma'am, I want to answer that. See, these gangsters were shooting people in, let us say, 40, 50 and all that. In 95, if you see, Gulshan Kumar was shot in 1997. The Commissioner of Police was transferred immediately because Bollywood was shaken up. In 95, if you see, Om Prakash Kukreja, one top builder, was shot. Vallabh Thakkar was shot. They were all worth hundreds of crores. Right next to the place where we are sitting, one Pradeep Jain, when Gulmohar Society was shot. Like that, dozens and dozens were shot in 95. Taqiyuddin Wahid, if you remember, he was the MD of the East West Airline. Allegedly, they said it was owned by Dawood Ibrahim Benami. Yeah. So, Chhota Rajan's man called Rohit Verma shot him.
That airline only closed down then.
Obviously, the pivot or the axle broke. Okay. That was the background. Every year, they were shooting from 1980. In 1980, 81, 82, 83, they cleaned up each other by shooting people in Gujarat, Baroda, Mumbai, everywhere. Later, they became international. If you ask me later, I'll tell you how they became international. The theater of war was expanded to foreign countries too. I'm now building the background as to how these things escalated. Then, October 97, allegedly, one boy called Javed Fauda was shot dead by an officer, inspector, and they said he was a peanut seller. And then they said it's a false encounter. And activists like lawyer Sebastian filed a PIL. And this Abu Asmi, the leader of Samajwadi Party, filed. He was against the police all the time. So that Bombay High Court gave this to the principal sessions judge of the Mumbai court called Justice Agyar. I call him Justice because he became High Court judge later. We worked together also on some other occasion. He enthusiastically investigated, inquired is the correct word, and said Javed Fauda was shot dead. It was a fake encounter. That shook the police because they were going on unabated, saying that they are the thing and all. Then he also went a step further, investigated 95 other incidents and said they are also fake. So imagine the shake, the shock, the spinal cooling down of the police. They went frozen. This very famous, all these encounter specialists were all involved in that murder cases. If they were convicted, 95 sets of policemen would have gone behind for murders. So they said, "Hum ye kyun kar rahe hain? What for?" Whatever illegal thing they did, benefits and all apart, they were doing some kind of a job and which will
some cleanup they were doing.
Cleanup, whatever. We can't justify that. But then it was all under law, section 100 of the Indian Penal Code. We'll come back to that later. Coming to this story, our original story, when this happened, the Bombay High Court took it as a trial. This report was argued, and we had Mr. V.R. Manohar, a very top lawyer from Nagpur. He did it pro bono for us. And then he argued, and I briefed him, supported him. And my Commissioner of Police, Mr. R.H. Mendonca, was a tough, non-corrupt, straightforward, who backed me completely. And then he was there in this incident time also. And then I was brought by him and by Mr. Inamdar, another top IPS officer, non-corrupt, straightforward. He was the DGP. So they brought me because things went out of hand. Okay, coming back to the thread. When this Justice Agyar business happened, when the trial took place, V.R. Manohar was appearing. It was Justice Ranjana Desai. Later, she became the Supreme Court judge. She and one more lawyer, one more judge, two judges bench, they heard and gave a clean sheet and said, these are the 6 rules you have to follow in case there is an encounter. And then the same thing went to Supreme Court. 14 years it took to come on trial. And then Justice R.M. Lodha heard that. And then my friend Harish Salve, a lawyer, a top lawyer, appeared pro bono again for us. And we won the case there also. Justice R.M. Lodha more or less adopted the same 6 policies. Now, the 6 points which will govern any encounter all over the country would be in vogue. It is in vogue now. So anybody who does anything of this sort has to follow those steps.
Even this new laws which have come, this Achar Sahita and things
but
like
it's
that.
the same. Section 100 became Section 44.
Oh, same.
See, 98% of IPC
has
is
come into
intact.
that. Okay.
Intact. Only certain portions have been amended, added, deleted and all that. Okay. Now coming back to this story which the question we asked is that when this went, the guys went on a rampage. They went and shot 101 businessmen in 1 year. That means every 3 days, 3.5 days, one businessman either in the office or in a car or anywhere was shot dead point blank. I don't think it is law and order. It is collapse of law and order. Now add to the masala is that 5, 6, 7 ruling party MLAs and others were shot dead. For example, Vivek Kelkar, Ramdas Naik, so many such people who are part of BJP. And Shiv Sena leaders were shot dead. And who shot them dead? Our Arun Gavli, Amar Naik and various others, or Dawood, whoever shot them dead. It happened.
Why? Now, because of extortion?
Because of extortion and money involvement and various things like that, madam. Now, I want to add a small little background. Who was in the ruling party? That is the 95-99 first coalition government ever in Maharashtra by BJP Shiv Sena. Shiv Sena was on more number of seats and BJP had less. And Manohar Joshi Sahib was the CM. Very educated. He was called Sir, Professor and all that.
Mild-mannered.
Mild-mannered, nice person. Madam. And then Mr. Gopinath Mundi. He was the deputy CM and he gave me a complete chit. You just do whatever it is. Okay. I also must put it to their credit. Never ever again once they ever called. Neither Mr. Bal Thackeray or his family or the CM or any time they never called. It was like a baby with the bathwater kind of a scene. You are planted, now do whatever you like. That is the brief. No brief was given to do. They expected that I will do the cleanup. And then I joined, let us say, on 1st July. And 6 months in 90,
as a crime branch head.
As a crime branch head. But I must also tell you, I had a complete knowledge of this whole Mumbai police and function, because 93, 94, 95, I returned from IB, worked for 6 years in IB here only. So I was watching all the thing. For example, 93 Blast. I watched it from the very close quarters. That was done by Dawood Ibrahim. Oh. If you ask me, I will describe later. And so I knew the policeman. Earlier, I had worked as an immigration chief, DCP special branch too. So these are the foundations for me. Additional CP crime, that is the time when the Bombay bomb blast was being investigated by Mr. M.N. Singh. He was a joint CP and was his deputy. I was number 2 there. So I knew all these things.
I interviewed him in his office. Yeah. And he showed me at that time, all these buildings in front of the thing was owned by Dawood. Correct. Right in front of all the commissioners' office, the buildings were owned by Dawood. And he purposely bought all that just to show that I am surrounding you. He used to own the chawls, he used to own the buildings, he used to own everything there.
It didn't matter, madam. Once when you get hold of someone who doesn't care a damn. For example, if I don't care whose building is this, I do my job. We neutralize the complete Dawood Ibrahim gang, which is the story in this book. That is the Brahmastra. Okay. Now, coming back to this story, the politicians were shaken up. Some of the top chaps or their family people were also threatened with whatever action and money and things like that. So the politicians had the dilemma that the kind of guys whom they developed or they supported would become cobras surrounding them and threatening them. For example, this Arun Kavli and Abbar Naik was all supported by the top political parties and political families.
Because he was fighting against Dawood, that split had happened.
That was more on the religious lines and the alternative and all that. Yeah. Okay, tumhara agar hai to hamara bhi koi hona chahiye. That is the kind of attitude. But then when they started threatening the very people who protected, that became untenable for them. Yeah. So they brought somebody who was...
So you create monsters and those monsters try to gobble you up.
Like your Bindranwale, madam. Like your various other examples in the country you can take. Yeah. So, okay. Now, coming back to this story, I was additional CP crime and I was sent to Nagpur region to fight the Naxal area. So, my IB tactics and CBI work and all helped me in all these things. So, that strategy was totally different. I did 3 years there. So, that is the time this 97 incident took place. 98, July 1st, I was told by Mr. Manohar Joshi, who had come for a tour there to Chandrapur. And he told me, I'm taking you in a very important assignment. You must come and do the job. I said, okay, sir. Then orders came, I came and all that. I was DIG there. I was promoted as Joint Commissioner, which is IG's rank. I came here. But the scenario, the background, the shootouts were in hundreds earlier, you know. Mahesh Dolakia here, all these places, those people who owned those bars, dance bars. Dance bars were a big thing, 75,000 women dancing and money. And the gangsterism was a vintage, you said. No, if you ask me later, I'll go and elaborate on that. So they were rolling in money and then they had unlimited access to the judicial system, the appointment of lawyers and various things like that. Most of them,
judicial system?
99% of their cases are acquitted. Only in the latest case, this Jamson Decker murder, our Arun Kavli spent 17 years. Chhota Rajan, all the cases are acquitted.
So how were they able to do this? Were they threatening the judiciary?
It is no threatening. Come on. They can't threaten there. But they can be friendly, they can be nice, they can appoint top-class lawyers. If I cite the names of the lawyers who are defending them, you will be astonished. Top chaps who are charging money like anything. So that kind of lawyers appeared. Then again, the tactics they adopted. For example, prolong an important case for 20 years. Salman case, it was prolonged for 18 to 20 years, the driving case, the driverless wonder, that car which drove by itself. It took 20 years. That constable who was there in the front seat, he vanished. Vanished means he went away, went up. So that kind of a tactics when they adopt, the judicial, you see, judge is a judge who is not threatened. He looks at evidence, whatever comes in front of him. For example, this acquittal of this train blast recently, 2006, or Malegaon, these are all examples of how you marshal evidence.
But Malegaon is a completely different case. I mean, I don't want to go into Malegaon because that's a story in itself.
I'm not talking about Malegaon because I'm nowhere involved with that.
Yeah, so that's a very
I gave this example
yeah
that when
of
you
cases.
prolong a matter,
Correct.
the witnesses turn turtle, they get afraid, threatened, whatever it is.
Yeah, but let me come to these the shootouts which used to happen and the extortion racket which used to happen. It was understood that all big real estate deals, everything would be supervised by the underworld. So any big property which was bought or sold, the underworld had a cut in that. So how did that cleanup start happening?
Do you know even now they have it?
They're even now.
They have. Where did the gangsters go? They are all involved in SRA projects, which is multi-million, multi-lakh crore projects. They are all working as consultants. They are working directly. I can name them. I can name the projects also. Mumbai, my biggest projects are owned by whoever it is. All of them, they have these gangsters consultants.
As consultants.
Ah,
to clean out the chawl so that the big buildings can come.
You got it, ma'am. You got it. So that is how the transformation took place. But anyway, the gangsters have not vanished. They do smuggling of narcotics, arms, ammunition, all contraband. They're doing thriving business.
They cleaned up their thing to make it look legal.
See, no, it is illegal anyway. What troubled the common people or the police was that this bloodshed, killing people. For example, nobody believed my husband or anybody would go out and come back alive because of this situation. I told you 101 shootouts in 1 year. That is too much. Yeah. So whatever strategies I have used in this book, I will narrate it later. It worked like medicine. And next year, that is 1999, we had 48 shootouts of businessmen. Police shootouts were in cold storage. They came out slowly, they warmed up. But then next year, that is 2000, 48 became 26, half. Then 2001, it became 12. 2002 to now, that is Javed Siddiqui of Baba Siddiqui, not Javed Siddiqui, Baba Siddiqui. He is a 15,000 crore owner allegedly, and he's an ex-MLA and politically close to everybody, close to Bollywood and all. He had a police protection also there by his side. This is the first ever shootout of that nature in the last 23, 24 years.
But everybody, when that shootout happened, everybody said, oh my God, Mumbai is going to return to what it used to be. Because of the fear of that, those who remember that era, where Dawood had a free run, where Chhota Rajan, Chhota Shakil, all of them had a free run. Tell me about that period where the absolute cruelty of Dawood Ibrahim was visible on the streets of Mumbai.
One is the elimination of the other gangs. Ruthlessly, they were all eliminated. And second is the division of Dawood Ibrahim and Chhota Rajan on religious lines. That is the 1993 blast. The ruthless thing which Dawood Ibrahim made himself unpardonable for Indians is that 12th March 1993 blast. If you allow me, I can elaborate in two minutes. Babri Masjid was brought down on December 6, 1992. And immediately there was a reaction the same evening by the minority community. The Bombay Police did whatever has been asked to do, the controlling of the riot as per drill. And 15-20 days time was there, lull was there. Then the majority community did another riot with a studied execution of the shops, people and all that. Then the Bombay Police did whatever it is, refer to Sri Krishna Commission report, good, bad, ugly, whatever it is. Then there was a lull. And the minority community met Dawood in Dubai. That's what he was working from there. And they requested that you must bring a kind of a parity eye to eye. We have to see
Is
that.
it true that somebody sent a box full of bangles to him, broken bangles and all that?
Cock and bull story, ma'am.
No.
Imagine it. Nobody would have dared to send that to him.
Saying that
because
chudi
people,
pehno.
listen, even now people are damn scared of him. I don't know whether he's alive, dead, he is lung cancer, Evo and all that.
Clifton.
But Clifton and all, anybody could call, somebody answers also. TV channels are, every year they kill him, bring him back and all that. Okay, all that apart. This story is very interesting. So when he agreed to do that honor, bring the honor back to the minority community, his connection with ISI was thriving at that time. And then, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto's 1,000 cruel cuts, they did one. And it was a major cut. First ever terrorist attack in the world by sending 4,000 kilos of RDX. That is 4 metric tons. 2,000 AK-47, 2,000 hand grenades and enough ammunition to bring the entire Mumbai on rebels too. So that was what said. And Sanjay Dutt had all those things. And he had 2 trucks of things parked in his house. All that kind of thing. He was prosecuted, convicted. All that story you know very well. And in that unkind cut by Pakistan, done by this man, that is where the terrorism and mafia link comes, which is rare. Mafia guys never did terrorism. Narcos, if you remember, he brings down the civil aircraft and then that was the end of it for him. So in that way, this guy became a terrorist, and Indians will never ever forgive him for this. What was the damage? 257 people killed and 857 people maimed and injured, and unknown number of people missing. Sea Rock Hotel is missing, no? Sea Rock Hotel is missing, not there.
You said that Dawood Ibrahim used ISI. Was it that way, or was it ISI which saw Dawood Ibrahim as a tool and his network?
The second one would be true, madam. What you said, second one would be true. But then he gave that opportunity on a platter. So to do
Let's go back a little bit. Why did he run away? How did he run away so easily?
That is 1984. Samad Khan, a nephew of Pathan gang, was shot dead, and then they went behind them. All that happened. 1984, he was arrested and he was in the court. He got bail, and that is the time he ran away to Dubai.
And his family also went away.
Family, no, they were all here. Only the brothers, Anis, Noora, Iqbal. Iqbal is here. Anis is in Dubai. Noora is dead. Then he had 12 siblings, no? Yeah. His father was Ibrahim Kaskar, a cop. Cop means what? Havaldar. In crime branch. He was there until 86. Before I came to Mumbai Police, he was there. Yeah. And he benignly did his job, retired, passed away and all that. So, this guy ran away there, and he found he never surfaced, and never, on somebody's advice, perhaps he doesn't appear in the TV, he doesn't show how he looks, and he does all his things behind. And he is also on a strategy given by somebody knowledgeable. He sees to it his name doesn't come in any FIRs.
But before Dawood, there were gangsters before that also. Organized crime existed with Karim, Lala.
1940.
From Mudalayar and the others. They all were there. What changed between Karim, Lala and Mudalayar's time and Haji Mastan's time?
Fantastic, ma'am. You are asking a fantastic question. So, this is 1940 if Karim Lala had begun. 20 years, let us say, he had his own thing. Old man there is all these people, peaceful, brings all gangsters together, brings peace. Maybe he should have asked for a Nobel Prize like somebody else is asking. So, like that, he was doing it. Then Haji Mastan came from Tamil Nadu as a port worker. He speaks only Tamil. He spoke only Tamil. He can't read anything else than Tamil. I'm also from Tamil Nadu, so we need to.
I've interviewed Haji Mastan, and when I interviewed him, so he looked at me and said, "Madrasi hai kya?" Because
your name,
my name. So he just looked at me and said, "Madrasi hai kya?" So I said no. Then of course the interview went on. Sorry.
If you had said yes or no, you would have had.
Yeah, he would have probably spoken to me in Tamil or something.
He would have shown fatherly affection.
But he was he was trying to turn into a politician. He had started that.
He started a party called DMMS.
Yeah, so that's when I interviewed him.
Dalit Muslim.
Correct.
Kind of thing like that.
Yeah, sorry.
That was all the JP movement, if you remember.
So, but Mudalayar also came from Madras.
I'll tell you that. So, when Haji Mastan was doing this as a port worker means what? Access to all smuggling. all prostitution, dance, rackets, all that kind of liquor, prohibition, blah, blah, blah. So this guy, Varadarajan Mudaliar also hailed from there, Tamil, and with all that thing.
Namam and all that.
With this, I'll tell you, I should give you a lecture. Namam is this for the Vaishnavites, and this is for the Shaivites, like me. Sivanandhan is a Shiva. So you put that holy ash, vibhuti as they call. That is what he is. So the Namam is only meant for Iyengars. Okay. The Iyengars, the Iyengars. Okay. Now let us not get into caste controversy. He is from there, and now the main question you ask. They lived peacefully. They had a coexistence, understanding. They will hold a darbar and collect all people, anything going wrong. And there was no bloodletting. Things were, okay, government policies changed. For example, Rent Control Act changed. For example, Gold Control Act by Morarji Desai came. So the gold price is higher and Dubai may free. So like that.
So now you're talking end 60s, mid 60s, end 60s.
70s, 80s also. 80s only Varadarajan Mudaliar was removed from here by Mumbai Police, and he went to Chennai and died. Haji Mastan allegedly brought
That's also a story about how he was thrown out.
Fulfilled his desire of getting buried in Mumbai. He brought a private aircraft and all that.
Explain how he was sent away from Mumbai to Chennai.
Multiple cases were done. That time this elimination, jo bhi chota mota hota tha, but not in a big way. But
he was paraded in the street of...
whatever is, that was before my time, madam, before my time. I wasn't here.
He was thrown out.
So all that, see, let us say very simply, strong arm tactics, both sides. He would also eliminate anybody who was a thorn in his flesh. Police also did strong arm tactics, which is as per law. Whatever they did, as long as they got away with whatever they did, parading, raiding and all that.
But at that time, that whole talk was that one less Hindu organized criminal in Bombay. So it was then
It was not Hindu that time.
I mean,
the time you're talking about, Hindu-Muslim was not known.
No, but there was Haji Mastan and there was Karim Lala. Karim Lala Pathan, Haji Mastan non-Pathan, and Varadarajan.
I must tell you, ma'am, those times, this religious differences and other things were absolutely not there. People would go to anybody and buy all his refrigerator and all those.
Two in one,
the Casio watch, calculator, all that, or communicator, the huge device.
Gold smuggling.
Or gold smuggling, whatever contraband, narcotics, arms ammunition. So I want to tell you that the Hindu-Muslim divide came only after the Bajbri Masjid and the riots and the follow-up. Okay. I never knew a Muslim boy in my class when I was studying in Tamil Nadu. That division came only up. There is a watershed of terrorist activities. If you see, all terrorist activities started only from that. 1993, March 12th. All bomb blasts, all your Indian Mujahideen, Hizbul Mujahideen, blah, 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 all that happened after that. Before that, it was all hanky-dory. Muslims and Hindus were living together like no issue.
Okay, I beg to differ because there have been riots, sir.
Okay.
But
no, that communal riots of Moradabad, Ahmedabad and all that,
Assam,
that is that's a different thing. I'm talking about smugglers, others and others. Communal riots was a different. We are not discussing communal riots.
Right. We are talking about organized crime.
You leave Moradabad and Assam and all that. In Mumbai, no such riot took place. They lived, we lived, everybody lived. So I am saying in Mumbai, in the context of what we speak, Hindu-Muslim difference was not there.
So
this difference came only after 1993 when Chhota Rajan said, I am the nationalist, patriotic Hindu Don, and he is the anti-national Muslim.
He split from Dawood at that stage. Yes. Right. But did he actually split on Hindu-Muslim lines or was it for money?
Organized crime ka definition is pursuit of humongous amount of money. And with the use of violence, guns, knives. So that is the basic thing going. Now you want to give a cover of saying I am nationalist. For example, after shooting Mirza Beg in Kathmandu, he was a member of parliament. He was supposed to be Dawood Ibrahim's agent there in Nepal. He came on the TV and said, I am the nationalistic patriotic Don. Here I have eliminated him. And I am this, I am that. He did kill 8 of those people who were involved in the bomb blast, 1993 bomb blast.
Chhota Rajan.
Chhota Rajan shot 8 of them in Mumbai and said, I'm the national, what the courts cannot do. Courts will take 25 years to convict them. I'm eliminating them, doing justice to Hindus.
Did people believe him?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. But then he is entitled to take his cover, no?
The police was happy कि एक दूसरे को मारो.
वो ज़माना अलग था. Not me. Not me. Not me. In my case, all the police units came together. We worked as one thing. We gave them enough leadership and backing, and we eliminated the mafia in its entirety in the country. If someone asked me why you didn't kill Dawood Ibrahim in Karachi, that was not my remit. I didn't have a blue passport or green passport or yellow passport. And Cambodia जाके याट में पकड़ना मेरा job नहीं था. It is the job of somebody else. So,
Unknown gunmen.
So policemen cannot be now told that they were partisan. They could have been partisan earlier, but now the same. This is dedicated to the same Mumbai Police. This book says the Mumbai Police did more. It is books more about them than about my story.
Let me go back, sir, to that question which I asked, that how was Dawood Ibrahim different in the sense that he decided to use foreign backing to cause terrorist blasts here, whereas the earlier ones like Karim, Lala, Haji Mastan and Rajan Mudlayar, the other gangsters, did not do crime in the sense of killing people and didn't use foreign money for terrorism. Dawood Ibrahim changed that. Now, Dawood Ibrahim used terrorism, yes, but there was more to Dawood than just terrorism, right?
There is absolutely more to Dawood. One thing you must realize, the elapsing of time, 1940, 50, 60, 70, 80, technology was available was zero. It had to be face to face. If I as a gangster had to deal with, I had to physically be present. Now when Dawood and others came, virtual private network, this voiceless, changing this, changing that, technology, mobile, and all that kind of thing. For example, I can plant a bomb in a place, and after 6 months by blowing a whistle from a foreign country, I can blow. All that was not there. They had to meet physically. For example, today, Zoom call, all the gangsters can do a meeting and read. But there they physically came. If you've seen a movie called Godfather, all of them come together. And then there is a cover. Then the shootouts. All that happened. Now everything is technology. And these gangsters are 3 steps ahead of the government as far as the use and deployment of technology. I'm afraid they may be having a quantum computer already.
How did you break the Dawood gang at that stage?
It is not one gang. I broke all the gangs.
How did you do that?
How did I do that? Because of these shootouts which was going. For example, the 800 800 trades representatives met when I joined the new and before Diwali 1998 and warned the government with dire consequences. That is Manohar Joshi and Gopinath Mundeji and others, DGP, CP, all of them sitting on the stage. I was a newcomer. I was the baby with the bathwater guy. And then they showered all abuses saying that black Diwali karenge, black flag chadayenge, or we will not pay taxes. We will adopt Mahatma Gandhi, not pay taxes to the government. That is a dire situation. And then we had to see this gang or that gang. No, whoever had a gun. So I adopted one by one, of course. I fell down, broke my head, got up and then learned the thing. It took time. One is to use an old law which wasn't used effectively called MPDA, Maharashtra Prevention of Dangerous Activities Act. Dangerous activity, in the title itself will say slum lords and drugs and various things like that. In that, the Commissioner of Police had the judicial power of detaining a person for 1 year. And the minute he detains, he'll be in the jail and he could apply to Government of India, Government of Maharashtra in 12 days. After that, go to Bombay High Court. Invariably, everybody did. But then 60-70% used to get acquitted because of the faulty procedure. But I tightened the way the papers were prepared. And we detained 1,600 criminals in that 2 years, 3 years, let us say 3 years. That means 1,600 man-years of top-class criminals spent behind the bars. That is the biggest achievement of this thing. Nobody spoke about it. This shooting, gun, and this thing for the movie and the magazine guys looked very glitzy. So they promoted them. They did all illegal things and they fell wayside, went to jail and all. That is a different story. Second one is illegal weapons, which was coming from Jammu Kashmir, Pakistan, all that, even Afghanistan. By the end of that war, we had availability in plenty in the open bazaar. So these guys had the access. For example, Ramdas Naik in 1995 was killed with an AK-47 by a guy called Firoz Konkani. Subhash Singh Thakur in 1992 went to JJ Hospital and to shoot two accused belonging to the other.
Who had guards?
Six or seven of them.
Yeah.
The sub-inspector was Thakur from the same village belonging to Subhash Singh Thakur. Yeah. You know that? They belong to the same village. And they have nexus, let us say that. 7 of them were protecting, 2 of them as per the Mumbai Police manual. Yeah. This guy barged into that place with AK-47, fired 657 rounds in a 10 by 10 room. Terror. Shailesh Haldankar was killed.
They had this unsaid thing कि police को नहीं मारना है. In spite of that,
no, you didn't get it right. Police को थोड़ी मारा. Police मर गए incidentally when 657 bullets flew. But then they would have apologized, gone to the family, taken care of them and all. The target is Shailesh Haldankar and that one more guy. That's about it. I want to tell you on record, since you asked me, never ever a policeman was ever harmed. They would pay, bribe, take care, do all those things. Marriages, many of the gangsters' sisters were married to policemen. Whenever we did a shootout, we go there and raided the house, search for a search. One police uniform will be hanging. We ask, "Ye to hamara mehuna." Mehuna means brother-in-law in Marathi. So that is the kind of nexus they had. Many policemen lived in slums. 55% of policemen, we couldn't afford to give houses those days. They lived in slums. So and the delivery of that police man's wife will be taken care of by the slum lord there. We must also say the government also lacked in so many sympathy, empathy factor for the policeman. Average policeman was at the mercy of the God and the slum lords. So, ho gaya hai. Now, what was the question you asked?
Even I'm like you wondering. No, I was saying how you
how I eliminated the Dawood Ibrahim gang you asked.
One you said was arresting those chaps. Second you said was the weapons.
Strategy. I was counting the strategy. First is MPDA.
And second is
so mopping up weapons. How much did we recover? 2,500 of them. And they were all imported. Some katta from Mongyur and Pakistan. Not Pakistan, Bihar and others and all that. That disenabled them. The culture that anybody will come and put a gun on your table and say, now bol, atta bol. That people were trembling and shivering. So that removed. I did make a statement that any gangster taking an illegal gun from his hip should not be alive to put it back. We saw to it that it happened. That was sending the tremor down their spine. One. So this is the third.
But these encounters which were happening?
One, madam, I'll tell you that. The encounters were there from 1982. Yeah. Every year, some kind of they were shooting, we were shooting, all that.
But then there were these cops who were encounter
They
specialists.
were given unnecessary thing after I left. They were under control, under leadership, strong leadership. They didn't do anything otherwise. They went astray and paid a heavy price. For example, this Lakanbaya encounter, 4.5 years in jail, and this Antilia, 4.5 years jail, and so many people were in jail. Daya Naik was in jail, suspended, all that kind of thing. Our Salaskar unfortunately died in the 2611 by the bullets from Kasab and Iqbal. Of that 2611 incident, Salaskar was one of them. So they went beyond the Lakshman Rekha and paid a heavy price for that.
But sir, when you're given a task like this, clean it up, then you go in the process of cleaning up, and isn't there that fine line when that cleanup you can cross that line, right?
Ma'am, it is absolutely a brilliant question you asked. Nobody says clean up. They say do your job. Cleaning up is what we have adopted it, or we have said, we thought we have to clean up. We did clean up also, I agree. Any illegal thing you do, you are liable. You are absolutely standing alone in the court, and the government doesn't give you lawyer support, nothing at your cost. If you are there in the jail while doing a wrong thing, for example, Kaja Yunus death in custody, 17 people were in the lockup. Even now the case is going on. Or Pota matter, or Afroz. Pota means Afroz matter, or Telgi matter, if you remember.
Yeah.
Even the then Commissioner of Police was arrested.
Yeah.
Joint CP Crime was arrested. So all those cases, when you transgress the line, you said, no, there is a line. Lakshman Rekha, let us say, when you cross, you are at your own risk. The system doesn't protect you at all. The same Commissioner of Police and Joint CP who is revered and respected is taken in custody for 3 years or 2 years or whatever it is not a very palatable kind of thing for the police morale.
It's like when KPS...
So, madam, when I did all this job, I had to keep a tight control over whatever was happening. We could not afford anything wrong. None of these guys did any transgression that time. All that happened after I left. Because of lax control, because the top leadership was in this Telgi and various other matters, they were all involved. There was no tight control over them. So that is what happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about this unwritten law that you were talking about. Is that still continuing in the sense that they'll not harm policemen? They attack. They do. 2
unwritten laws, madam. One is never ever they will attack the wife or the child of a gangster, fellow gangster. They never did. So many people's wives, for example, Chhota Rajan's wife is living peacefully with her daughter, and she goes to school, normal study. Once I went to a school to address, I told you I'm fond of giving lectures. That is a school where the child was studying. She was sitting there in the 5th row. So when I mentioned about Chhota Rajan, the principal's face became bloodless. So I said, what do I care or what do I know about that? So that's the kind of thing. So one rule is that no family should ever be harmed. Not a single case in this 1940, that 60 years, 25, 85 years of history of Mumbai Mafia. No. Never. Second is...
That's different from Italian mafia, no? Where they wipe out other family members. Isn't that it?
When a car is blown, whoever is there in the car gets. For example, the Sicily guy, if he is to be killed and then his wife and children are there in the car, they do it.
But here it's not
like that. It could happen there. It could happen here also. But then here it is more, never with a remote you blew a car here.
But how come, like, see, the RDX and all was used in the terror attacks, but they didn't use RDX against each other?
No. 3,700 kilos of RDX we recovered from Thana Nagla Bandar and gave it to the army, and whatever happened. So RDX is available even now. RDX is available, but they never used it against others or even against the police or anything like that. Second rule I mentioned is never ever harm a policeman or his family. That's why I never took any policeman, no Z-scale security, not a single gun I ever handled, and my family went all over free. No taxis, cars and things like that. We didn't have that fright that somebody will shoot. I have to have a Z-scale security and all. No.
But the fact that at the constable level and all there, the intermarriage was happening, that was because of fear, no? That either get us married.
No, not at all. They are all belonging to the same community. They live together. They in the slum kind of situation or even in a multi-story structure through the kidiki, they fall in love and marry. That is certainly 100%
That's not
out of
force.
It's out of pure love.
Okay.
If there is any.
Okay, when you were talking about, that you cannot cross that Lakshman Rekha, because if you do that, then you're left all alone to fight the cases. There are these super cops like KPS Gill and all that who are credited for wiping out terrorism in Punjab, and under whom there were several police officers who obviously did not stick by rules, by law. They did all kinds of things that they had to, probably, or they were given that orders that terrorism has to be wiped out. They did that. There are famous cops also of Mumbai. I don't want to name them, but they were commissioners and things like that. Why is it that for organized crime, that kind of free hand was not given?
Free hand was given as per law. You do everything. We are now talking about apples and oranges. Terrorism in Punjab or Ulfa or Bodo or LTTE is a different genre altogether. This organized crime is purely ideology driven. They were ideology driven. Khalistan chahiye, Bodoland chahiye, Tamil Elam chahiye. They were giving life. Even a child without both the arms will hurl a hand grenade with her feet. She will hurl like that. In Jammu and Kashmir or in Tamil Elam, they were ideology driven. They would do anything for anybody.
And here
it is purely money driven. Organized crime is profit, profit, profit.
Okay.
Nothing ideology. So even today, in this gangsters, Hindus are there working with Dawood Ibrahim, Muslims are working with Chhota Rajan gang. Hey,
Okay.
there is nothing called ideology. To hai nahi hai.
So when
And most of these guys working with Dawood and going to other gangs and coming and forming other gangs, joining other gangs, this multi jumping like a trapeze act from here, there and all that is continuous and constant. The constant in this thing we are talking about is profit and money.
you talked about using tools like tapping phones, intelligence, you've spoken out here.
Tapping phones.
And
yes.
then, things like forensic evidence, which is needed because when you fight it in courts, you need forensics also. Tell me how systematically policing has improved over the years because of these.
Yeah, about the strategies, I forgot to say that I did go to VSNL and found all these days, the Indian Telegraph Act is 1885. And then since then, they have been tapping telephones of individual foot soldiers, which didn't yield you any advanced intelligence. So one day, out of curiosity, I walked into VSNL and asked the gentleman, can the numbers, the foreign numbers were here because anybody when they extortion, they would leave a foreign number saying that तुम्हारा boss आया, उसको ये number में बाई को phone करने के लिए बोलो. That was always +91 blah blah blah. Numbers changed. So I was thinking that भाई ऐसा भी हो सकता है क्या? Can we tap these telephones instead of the foot soldier, the origin of the river? So I went and he said, हाँ gateway तो यही है, हम कर सकते हैं. Our advanced intelligence without anybody's knowledge or imagination. Those guys on record said this Mumbai Police wala ka to haisiyat nahi hai. They can't just do anything. You change your telephone number is there on record. I've heard it in my own ears. So that gave us fantastic advanced intelligence as to who they are going to shoot and who they are going to kill. So our guys were in anticipation, they were there. Multiple people, multiple guns, multiple things, operations done because of this. That is another strategy. The last strategy is that Brahmastra, MCOCA, 1999, a group of people from government and Mr. Puri is no more a DGP and others made a committee and then made a law, borrowed heavily from Canadian laws, US laws and all that. And there was no definition about the organized crime or mafia. Some kind of a definition came in this, and membership was punished, owning property was punished, and so many things happened. As I mentioned in the book, it says getting a guy into the trap of a MCOC law is very difficult. And once he is caught, getting out is very difficult. I'll give you the example of Mr. Bharat Shah, the film producer and the Geman jewelry, diamond. He was chairman of Diamond Bows in London and here and everywhere. Once in the Chori Chupke case, we caught him talking to Chhota Shakil and Dawood Ibrahim. He tried his best. Multiple times he went to Delhi Supreme Court. And this is unconstitutional, that is unconstitutional. All that happened. But ultimately, we won the case.
What was the Chori Chupke case?
That is all this funding and financing by these people.
Of Bollywood.
So recovery of money, recovery of this, usko 25 lakh diya tha, 15 lakh diya tha, ye le lo. Salman Khan was questioned by me. And then ultimately in that Chori Chupke case involving gangsters, we got 6 years each for a man called Rizvi, who was a spot boy, earlier became a producer and director, and one more guy with the same kind of name. 6 years punishment, and Bharat Shah got 12 months. But he was spent about 17, 19 months in the custody. So that was fair enough. Now what I'm telling is, this law showed that with any amount of money, 2,500 crores, let us say, was the personal asset of that man, he couldn't get out of that. That's it. who all the lawyers appeared. I've stood in the court and listened to them. Kapil Sibal by a chartered flight coming there and talking about Mocha. All the top
For
chaps.
Bharat Shah.
Bharat Shah.
He appeared for Bharat Shah.
Madam, he could engage anybody. And he engaged everybody. All top lawyers were engaged. Who appeared for me? Lo and behold, two fabulous lady lawyers, my prosecutor. One is Mrs. Vijaya Tahil Ramani. She became Bombay High Court judge and then became Chief Justice of Chennai High Court and came back, retired. The other lady is a fearless lady. In my book, I call her the Iron Lady. It is a box column. You must read that. Rohini Salian. She was unmarried, alone, staying, no fear. She used to hold the books and walk every day from her house to the court. Never took a police car, never took... Oh, they were paid by government a measly figure of 2,000 to 2,500 rupees a day. That too once in a year, twice they will pay, not every time.
As compared to the other
No,
five-star
they
lawyers.
were 25 lakhs, madam. Chartered flight.
Chartered.
25 lakhs that time. Now they are charging much more. The rate card is there.
Huh.
So that kind of a tussle. I told you, V.R. Manohar is a doyen in law, legal luminary. Free, of course, he appeared.
Yeah. How was
Harisar.
Makoka different from Pota? Pota had to be repealed. And UAPA, which has
Pota,
come.
madam, was against terrorism.
Huh.
Whereas this is against organized crime, pure
But
and simple.
Yeah. So Pota, they said, was misused. Then comes UAPA. And they say UAPA is also so draconian. Are these laws...
Madam, draconian you call because Umar Khalid type of people, when they are arrested for 6 years, neither a trial nor anything, and they don't have a bail. So that is the reason why it is called draconian. In a way, you can say MCOC also is draconian, but then it is not against any religion. It is not against any particular individual. We choose the people because the process, if you permit me for a minute's time, the ordinary IPC law is registered for murder, dacoity, robbery and all that. Then we examine the people and whether they have done in the last 10 years 3 crimes punishable with 3 years of rigorous imprisonment, whether they form a gang, is there a leader, member, all that. And then it is recommended to the additional commissioner or DIG whether MOCA can be applied. He applies his mind. He is grilled in the court after 20 years also. So he applies and says permitted. Then they apply MOCA and then do whatever it is. Before charge sheeting, it goes to the Commissioner of Police or the Additional Director General of Police. He has to apply his mind and give a sanction order saying that I have applied my mind, read the entire piece of paper and I am giving sanction to prosecute 1, 2, 3. And I don't give prosecution permission for 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D. So it happens like that. And you are put on the box. They grill you for 3 days for that. So this is the problem where taking a guy inside, for example, Dawood, his last crime was 93. Abhi to 2025 mein 10 saal to hai nahi hai. Somebody has given him advice saying, bhai, tum chota shakil ko aage badhao aur tum piche raho so that you will not come under MOCA. I hope the drift is understood.
So what is he charged for? Is he charged, what is it?
He is charged for every crime committed provided there is a link.
But
There
has
is
it,
a direct
is there a
link. Everywhere link was there, he was accused and he was charge sheeted. For example, 1993, he is charge sheeted.
Has he ever approached Mumbai Police to say, I want to come back, can we talk?
That is all folklore, man. He
Never
promotes
wants to
that.
come back?
Never. He can't come here. His life is at risk and he won't come here. These are all things people just float to keep the folklore. For example, they will always float when this Ganapati was famous, Chhota and Sayadri Mandal was famous. They used to float. He used to come with all cover, hood and all that, do puja and go away. You can believe or you can don't. But there are people who work continuously in Mumbai to keep this larger than life image alive. By writing books, by reproducing movies and for example, Daddy 1 and 2 made on Arun Gowli. Manya Surve's thing, shootout at Vadala, shootout at Lokhandwala, Mumbai Once Upon a Time. If you've seen all that, Satya company, where my role was played by Mohanlal. So all that is to lift the image of the gangsters. Achha, they were all funded and financed by them only. Diwar, Mukaddar ka Sikandar, you remember? That is that friend whom you...
Not a friend, but yeah.
He asked you whether you are
I
a
asked
Maharaj.
him whether it was his, so he said nahi.
No, okay, whatever it is.
Obviously, he'll say nahi.
Obviously, but they were funded and financed by them. Others also. Abu Salem always controlled 20 movies at a given time by funding and financing.
What is the interest that these guys have with Bollywood? Why?
Glamour. His girlfriend was asked to be heroine in 2 movies.
Monica Bedi.
Monica Bishk Bishk Pyar Vyar and one more thing. So then the complete control of a glitzy world, where Dawood Ibrahim could summon all the cinema actresses to Dubai and give them rewards and send them back. I know as an immigration officer, one of the topmost actors and 83 other musicians and actors went to Dubai to do an entertainment show for the daughter of Dawood Ibrahim. She was 10, 12 years old. Later on, perhaps she passed away also. I was immigration officer. I saw them going by a special flight and coming back.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But did they have a choice to say no?
That is what I wanted to say. They had no choice and we had no means of protecting them. Let me admit that. If anyone comes, for example, Salman Khan, we have given him fantastic protection. Still one woman walked into his house at 3 o'clock in the morning.
So all those chaps who went to play, who went to watch cricket and all that, they had literally no choice, and they had to sit.
We didn't take action against them. Like actor Govinda admitted, "Hum kya kar rahe hain? Jaake naach ke aaye hain." So what did we do? We didn't take any action. We do analyze all these things and go with the prasthiti or vastusthiti, as they say, as to be practical and be fair to them. Unfairly, we never did anything.
So they went out there and the producers had to produce those films, write those films.
They were under mortal fear. They could be eliminated. And foreign rights is OTT, foreign rights, music rights, Mera music wala hoga and all that.
That's why Gulshan Kumar
You remember Gulshan Kumar. Yeah, you are taking out of the words from my mouth, madam. You are fantastic. Gulshan Kumar, Nadeem was involved in
Nadeem
that.
Shravan
He went away and never came back. We tried to bring him 27 times. We appeared in that court of London and tried to bring him back. He never came.
2 cases he lost also. Then again he won.
That is the beginning. Mein extradition. It's an extradition case. But then later on, they upheld whatever they did. They didn't send him. Practically, we didn't bring anybody from London.
But then again, things changed because when film industry got the industry status.
That is because of me only. You should credit me.
Okay, tell me about that.
But that is the same. When this Chori Chori Chupke Chupke and all that happened, the old case we were saying that all the glamorous movies were produced on behalf or at the behest of gangsters was because money was given to them at usurious interest. 60%, 80% for $100 was the charge they levied. If they don't give, hell will break loose on the fellow who is a defaulter. So that status changed because of the operations we did, and we opened it up. IDBI, then NDFC and various organizations are funding and financing. That is the relief we got for the Bollywood industry.
I think that was during the BJP's tenure. I think Ravi Shankar Prasad was the law minister.
That time it was Mr. Vajpayee and various others were there, and they
changed that, and they said that give industry status, so financing becomes legit,
official, and interest rate is not throttling, and then you don't pay.
So then this, to some extent, it broke the back of this underworld backing the film industry.
True.
So did they still insist, isko hero banao, isko hero banao?
Abhi, madam, I told you repeatedly, these cinema people are all vulnerable. I have my sympathies for them. Whether it is Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, how much of protection they can have, private or public. They are public figures. They appear in public events, in various marriages, celebrations and all. They can't be having an iron fortress around them. Correct?
So did the Mumbai Dons sit in Mumbai or?
No, ma'am. All of them went on recruiting, all that they did. All their lieutenants were here, lawyers, engineers, constructors, all that, collection of money and all that was happened, Hawala racketeering, all that was happened. But A few guys did go away from 1984. That is Dawood Ibrahim, Chhota Rajan, Charat Shetty, then
Chhota Shakil,
Chhota Shakil, and
Anis,
Anis, Noora,
Noora.
all of them were there. Then his sister Hasina Parker was here. She died later. And Iqbal has come on this treaty which we made, UAE, and he came under
Abu
that.
Salim also came back with that.
Abu Salam did come back. We brought him by force. I
force.
was in the CBI, joint director in Chennai, in Mumbai, and we brought Pakka. He was brought under extradition treaty. So he is still there under that. He is convicted for Bombay bomb blast. That 93 March, I repeatedly say, he was convicted. Then a builder called Pradeep Jain in Gulmohar, not very far from here, he was shot. For that he was convicted. One more case, 3 cases he was convicted.
Okay, but
We
his
can
money
take
and
more cases, but then as per treaty, extradition treaty, we could only can take him for 3 cases.
Okay, but his money never came back. Portugal or somewhere, right?
That's a question I would also like to ask. The
Yeah, what
concerned.
happened to the money?
We don't know how much. Allegedly, they say $40 million, but that never came back. Yeah, that's why he's dying to go back. All the time he is asking courts. Multiple times he has applied to the court saying that मुझे term खत्म हो गया है, मुझे वापस भेजो. I'm sure he's not going to go back to Portugal, but the money is there. If it is there, he will go and enjoy.
In your book, you talk about the 1993 Mumbai serial blast. That was a turning point in many ways. Tell me about what it did to the Mumbai police, the morale of the police. What did you feel when you heard for the first time? Were you shaken?
Mumbai Police was in doldrums, and they couldn't handle this kind of number of deaths happening. I'll tell you, even my morale was low when I joined. For example, that Black Diwali I mentioned about the traders.
The traders.
That Diwali that year fell on 18/10/98. 18/10/98.
You still remember that?
I remember. Early morning, 5:30, I get a call from control room that in Antop Hill, a businessman was shot dead in his house with the family, everybody watching. And the wall of that thing is 1 brick, 4 inches wall only. The next door neighbor says, I didn't hear any sound. They were terrorized.
Yeah.
The head was hit on the wall and dragged all over. I could see the blood. Fantastic Diwali I had early in the morning. And then I went home, changed. Afternoon, another man was shot dead, another businessman. Second in Diwali. Evening in Poly Hill, a third guy was shot dead. So that is the kind of morale the police had. And do you die, don't do you die. And the press and the media, obviously they would report. I'm not blaming them at all. They would report 3rd dead, 33 dead, 77 dead. Up to 101 they could count and say, what is happening in Mumbai? Where is Mumbai Police? Where is the morale? Where is the government? Where is governance? Obviously all that. Rightfully they had to ask, they asked. It would hurt me. It would hurt me when I see that one more death took place, one more fellow. Also, particularly one case shook my conscience, which made me determined to wipe out that word you used, wipe out. That is, Kurup brothers, some poor guys running a Madras cafe in Bandup. And these guys asked for 25 lakhs. They couldn't afford just a small shop. And they went and shot him right at the gala. And the TV, that time TV was new. TV was showing the blood flowing as a rivulet on the white marble floor. My God, I sank. Literally, I sank. Of course, one constable was there. His name is Manchekar. He chased the gangsters in a hired auto rickshaw, shot them and all that. I rewarded, awarded and celebrated him. But that apart, I said, ye mera control mein hona nahi chahiye. So we went all out to see that they are protected. I want to say record from 99-98, no builder has ever been shot. That is our job. And hoteliers, where about 24 of them were shot. Now, of course, 0.
Also, when we see movies, we see these scenes where when officers like you portrayed in the movies, when they come in and they are, proactive towards killing mafia, they are told तुम्हारे पहले जो था ना उसको 3 बारी हमने ट्रांसफर किया, उससे पहले जो था ना उसकी बीवी को उठवा दिया. Did you get those kind of threats?
They don't dare to do that. I am a Madrasi and I don't fear them.
मद्रासी को लोग कहते हैं ज्यादा डरते हैं वैसे
ऐसा कुछ नहीं. मुझे देख के आप बोलते हैं क्या? I have also done a cleaning up operation. I never took a gun or a policeman ever. Not a single guy.
You didn't get calls from any of these chaps?
Listen to me. I want to quote one Tamil thing with your permission because you were alluded to be a Madrasi. Yamarkum kudiyallom namanayanjo means I am not subjugated to anybody's rule and I don't fear death. That is my policy. How many times do we die? Once. I will die a heroic death. Why I should die with diabetes and bedridden and kidney failure and all that. So,
which Dawood has, it seems.
He has liver cancer, not kidney failure, liver cancer. किसी का भी बीवी को कभी उठाया नहीं किसी ने भी. ये सिनेमा में बोलने का है, exaggerated kind of. किसका मूवी के उठाया है? अभी तक तो कुछ नहीं. Listen, cop killing in the USA or in India is not a tolerable offense. किसी का बीवी को किसी ने कुछ किया तो a ton of bricks will fall on them. Gee, believe me, we don't tolerate such kind of transgression into our protection and the security.
So when you were operating, did they ever call you and say that let's work out some kind of a peace deal?
No. Not a single call, never a single letter, never a single overture, nothing. They know kisko karna hai. But it does not mean that they were not having soft relationship with the down below people or above or below and all that. One idiot has come, he is doing some nonsense, let him do whatever he wants. That should be their logic of not touching me. एक पागल है, कुछ तो कर रहा है, करने दो, kind of thing.
Does the portrayal of cops fighting the media, does it bother or did it bother you? Because at that time, many of these cops were shown as many of the gangsters were shown as heroes.
They were funded and financed by them.
Right. So
movies where shootout at Wadala, shootout at, for example, Wadala, Manya Survey is done by John Abraham, a very handsome looking fellow. So they wanted to this kind of funded and financed by them so that their legacy on celluloid is looking good.
Even I think Ajay Devgan did in Lokhandwala, no?
Ajay Devgan did in Company. He did Dawood Ibrahim and Vivek Oberoi did Chhota Rajan. Yeah.
But how close to truth were these films? Ram Gopal Verma has this fascination for...
He is very fascinating.
Another Tamilian. So let me...
No, he's not Tamilian. He's a
Telugu chap. Okay.
Yeah. So under a broader canvas of Madrasi, he could come. But then Madras is Madras, Telugu is Telugu.
Did you meet him?
They don't like... I met him multiple times. He came to my office. See, I'll tell you the story about him. Satya movie was a fabulous movie. I loved it. Bhikkhu Matre would be my hero any day. But they transgressed that line, Lakshman Rekha, where they said Commissioner of Police was shot dead by them for doing encounters. I could not. I told you, we don't have that soft approach when policemen are killed or wives are taken away and things like that. I was boiling with rage. I mentioned it in Times of India multiple times, blah, blah. I had come as joint CP crime that time. He couldn't suffer that. He came, met me, we had a chat like this. And then he got impressed and he made a movie called Company. But
with
then
Mohanlal
playing. He has given a fantastic book
review for you.
He has given to me. I'll share it with you and share it with him. Oh my God. He did a fantastic job. He never met me before the movie was released. Okay. And he did exactly my kind of acting. Mannerisms, because TV में देखा होगा, press interviews में देखा होगा, and Ram Gopal Verma would have briefed him. He did a fabulous.
But that line was from that, no? Let them kill each other. Mohanlal says that, no?
That was a policy earlier. But
Mohanlal says it in the...
But it's a movie, it's not a biography. I hope you appreciate what I'm saying. Company where they show... After the end of all this thing which my character does, he is depromoted, sent to academy, he sits on the floor, writes a book called... Whereas I became joint director CBI, I became commissioner of police Nagpur, Thane, Mumbai, DGP, National Security Advice Office in the PMO. My career graph went shooting up. Yeah. So that was a movie They had to make money, whatever investment they did.
Yeah.
But then that was a good movie, I must say that.
Okay.
Fantastic movie.
Yeah, but then there was this lull, and now there are OTT series about organized crime and things like that.
All that is unfounded, not much truth in that. People can sell anything. People reject, people don't see, people see, appreciate whatever is happening. This is like a drop in the ocean. OTT has become a drop in. Many of the movies don't even get noticed. So it does happen.
It does. I'll even though we're talking about organized crime, I have to talk about this other incident which tore the fabric of Mumbai, which was 26/11. When the 26/11 Mumbai bomb blast happened, as a leader of a force at that time also, what did you feel? That was the city totally unprepared for that scale of attack?
I was the commissioner of intelligence for the state with no jurisdiction in Mumbai. None of those papers from the IB and all came. This was investigated by R.D. Pradhan and Mr. V. Balachandran. He wrote a review of my book today. I told you. So R.D. Pradhan sir was IAS and Mr. Balachandran was IPS. They mentioned in their report, and also a fact that 6 times IB had warned government of Maharashtra and other agencies that this sea-bound attack would take place. And Hemant Karkare, late Hemant Karkare, was very close to me, a fantastic officer, was ATS chief, IG rank. He called all those hotel people who were on the side of the sea beach. For example, this place, Taj, Oberoi, Intercontinental, all. He gave it to them in writing saying that do this, and don't do this, and everything was followed. Unfortunately, over a period of time, all those conditions relaxed because it's a hospitality industry. Everyone can throw tantrum and get all those things removed. Police, I want to put it on record that they did not act on that. Government of Maharashtra did not act on that. There was no coordination. I am repeating what is mentioned in the R.D. Pradhan committee. So I am giving you official quotation and answer. 6 times they were warned and they should have been prepared. We had commandos, we had AK-47s. I had created a commando with AK-47 as a joint commissioner of police, trained by a colonel, retired colonel. They were ready. The predecessor of the commissioner, the then commissioner, had created a QRT of 54 men with bulletproof vests and guns and AK-47. They were not deployed. I would sum it up by saying it was lack of anticipation, lack of preparation, lack of application of mind, and lack of leadership. That is what came in the press by various inquiry commissions who had come, and also R.D. Pradhan committee. If somebody else was in the leadership, things could have been different.
Leadership, what do you mean?
Let's say all leadership in the government level, let us say the Home Secretary, the Commissioner of Police. Commissioner of Police is independent of the DGP and independent of other, they directly, Commissioner of Police deals with the government of Maharashtra. So that is where, let us say Commissioner of Police should have been much more dynamic and much more anticipatory, train people, do all that. I was the Commissioner of Police there. If you ask me what all I did to make Mumbai city foolproof or terror proof, I can recite that.
Please tell me.
You have time?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. First is going to Israel, meeting the commander of Israeli police forces, bringing trainers, training QRT, quick response team people, able-bodied. They were trained in Pune in a secret location. It was free of cost. They didn't charge me a single rupee. Bought all the modern weapons from Germany and the USA and gave it to them. And earlier, policemen did not have enough fire power, round ammunition to fire to practice. So I brought 7 simulators worth 1.5 crores each, put it in each regional office and allowed people to fire any million times because it was a computerized simulator. We bought 40 bulletproof vehicles which are running behind cricketers now. 85 lakhs of rupees each from Mahindra. I didn't bring from Israel or America because spare parts, repair, maintenance, all that. We brought boats from Government of India, 28 of them, thanks to the Home Ministry. I bought equal amount of boats from Malaysia, the most modern bulletproof air-conditioned boats. We ever did patrolling. and I did 30 gymnasiums for the policemen free of cost, not from government, from people funding, and they were meant for health. I checked 43,000 policemen head to toe free of cost medical tests and gave them to how unhealthy they are. I built a canteen for 85 lakhs of rupees to produce healthy food for them. And then we trained the women by printing the recipe as to how less oil and more healthy food can be prepared, and trained the women with the help of a lady called Miss Naina Sattleward. So I made a training center called Prerana in that. I did 4 symposiums done by Mr. Abdul Kalam, Mr. M.K. Narayanan, KPS Gill, and various others. 4, 2 in NCPA, 1,200 people attended each. 1 in Chembur, Fine Arts, and 1 more in Dadar.
For what? What was
For
that?
bringing awareness. The morale was low. And I created the Force 1, which is equivalent of NSG. NSG ka carbon copy hai, madam. And that is training in Goregaon now. It is A to Z, it is copy of that. They were never tested and tried after that. I did a parade to a show of strength on the first year anniversary of 26/11/2009, and we paraded the Force 1. And then I brought NSG, and we gave a place in our Marol Training Center, and they are there since that time onwards. And like that, we did so many things for morale boosting for the policemen, and took them out of the morass or the demoralized condition. The people were demoralized. I had to show. I built a monument of 18 people private funds, on the Marine Drive, just next to the Taraporwala Aquarium. Now it is removed and kept inside the CP office because of the coastal road expansion. Every year on 26/11, we do go at 8 o'clock, do a parade and do Shraddhanjali for those 18 people who died. 16 policemen, 2 NSG, Major Balak Unikrishnan and Havaldar Gajendra Singh. My team consisted of Karkare and DIG Ashok Kamte, Salaskar, and some Pawar and Jagtap and so many other men. Fantastic. That was a story of valor. If you ask me, as a collective failure, if you say that I said lack of leadership. Individually, valor was shown. For example, this Karkare eating food in Dadar, Salaskar in some Kaf parade, Kamte, Chembur, they left their areas, went there, converged in VT station, went to Kama Hospital, where this DG NIA, now Abhijo Sadhanand, he fought it out with them. That is the only battle we can say it happened there. 2 men were with him, they were dead. And he got bullet injuries, one near the eye and one near the heart. Even now it is there, sharpnel is there, small tukda is there. So to rescue him, these guys went there. When the Qualis reached, these guys had come. There was a tube light street lamp, and under which was a tree. The shadow was on the road. These guys were not visible. And these guys reached, and they didn't know who reached, what. They needed a vehicle to go. They just fired at the glass and shot everyone dead. And they had no maneuvering. Our pistol and other things were there with them. Our Ashok Kamte was a son of a hero. His grandfather was 8.5 years IG of police of Maharashtra. That time IG was there, Maruturao Kamte. So he was a boy, American Hollywood hero would shy from him. That kind
Kamte.
of Kamte. He had a AK-47, but he had no place to remove and fire. Because Salaskar was driving, Karkare was sitting on the extreme left as per protocol, and he was sandwiched in between.
And there were those visuals also that he was putting on his...
That is Karkare.
Yeah.
That was a old, worn-out, useless jacket. That is again a blame on government. They didn't buy. Even much after the incident, they didn't buy. So what happened? I, as a commissioner, you asked me what did you do? I told MCHI, Maharashtra Chamber of Housing Industry, the so-called builders or realtors, no? I told, this is the specification, get me 500 bulletproof jackets as a gift. They gave. Someone said, oh, kaun sa commissioner hai tum? Builder se le raha. I said, builder hai? Kya farak kya padta hai?
Unki safety ke liye
government, see, problem is very simple, ma'am. When critics criticize, they don't care about logic. If the same attack took place again, none of the policemen who rushed earlier would rush now because they don't have bulletproof jacket. They all died because of that. I hope you appreciate. So the next attack, if it was imminent and if it happened, I would have committed suicide because I knew everything happened, everything. So as a commissioner of police, I had to do 360 degrees, air attack like a drone or a water attack, what happened on that day, like they came by boat and all that, or sea, rail, aircraft, anything can happen. I had to imagine everything.
You said you set up these rapid action forces and things like that, similar to that. The problem occurred in 2611 is the deployment took time to come from Delhi. So many things have happened.
Decision making was lacking.
Paralyzed at that stage.
CP should have made all decisions. The Delhi guys should have come faster. CP could have deployed our own force here, which was available. Anyway, people died. If they had died by eliminating them, it would have been.
Yeah. So, are there, exercises which are conducted, simulation after that?
Hundreds of them.
Okay. That if this kind of thing.
By the Force 1, by the QRT and by NSG. I don't want to name the vital installations like, okay, let us say BSC, NSC, Bharat Diamond Bourse, all these, they go. They have the CD with them where they can simulate and see where is the entry, where is the exit, how this is connected and all. Unfortunately, in Taj, they didn't get any of the maps or entry, exit. These guys knew. Who the gangsters, the terrorists knew. Pakistanis knew. Whereas our energy did not know how this one was connected to this one and all that. Nobody was guiding them able to.
Yeah.
So then the floor plans are now available with the NSG and the Force 1. They do all plans. They do that.
All the sensitive installations that we have. Because they're,
we have fabulous vital installations like BARC. So many.
That's what I'm saying. That when Pahalgam happened, on the dark web, there were all these things that Bombay mein we Baba ko attack karenge, isme attack karenge, Jamnagar mein karenge. All these things happen, and it's like reliving a nightmare. That can they do this? Can this happen?
Can they do? Answer is yes, they can do. At what cost? Would they get eliminated on the way, or would they get eliminated while they are attempting? These are the questions to be answered. How prepared we are, how we have got that Suraksha Chakra, Suraksha Kavach. So all that is there, madam. It is all there. It is all there. We created a force. I told you when I was narrating what all we did. We created a parallel police force with an act of law, with the police powers and the guns used by the police. It is growing by the day.
In spite of that, sir, Kashmir has more policemen per square kilometer than any other state in this country.
I agree,
right?
ma'am.
And in spite of that, Pahalgam happened. So when there is an intelligence breach like what happened in Baisaran, then you feel that all this paraphernalia, where the cops are told whatever you want, you get. And it's given to them, it's there. But there is a lull in thinking that normalcy ho gaya hai. You understand? And that's one breach is enough to shake the country. And Pahalgam has shaken the confidence of this country. What do you suggest?
I have no other choice than to agree with all of you, because I also think the same way. Advanced intelligence was there because they were buying maps from USA at the cost of 3 lakhs per sheet. And it was being purchased by some agency belonging to ISI front organization.
And the man who did that is day before yesterday, was in the Oval Office with the President of America.
Ma'am, that is a... Okay,
do you get it,
now
sir?
I would only...
How do you make a country safe when you're seeing this happening?
I would sum it up by saying, by doing all these things, we have to win the hearts of the population. In Jammu and Kashmir, I am afraid, with all the responsibility, with all the loyalty to the government and the constitution, I say, the people, I am afraid, are not with us. That is one. Second, this is a definite administrative failure. When you are issuing tickets for these people to go to Baisaran Valley and you say we don't know and we didn't deploy BSF, Army and Police, that is a lapse for which head should have rolled.
Yeah.
Head should have rolled.
So this is what I'm saying, that, while we talk about safety of Mumbai, there's also this lump in my throat when I always say that there's one lapse. That's all that it takes to go through this and to find a loophole.
I want to draw a parallel to you about the WTC attacks of USA.
Yeah.
If you have read the report, the last line says, every chatter was there, and Osama bin Laden had said, we will use your equipment, your people, and finish you off. And intelligence chatter was there, FBI, CIA, everyone knew about it. And the disaster took place because of lack of imagination. That is the last line of the report of WTC, which I have read. I suggest you have a look at it. So this kind of a monumental slip of once in a lifetime did take place in the USA.
Yeah.
For example, even in Moscow, if you remember, there was a huge theater where some was happening. The terrorists, Chechenian terrorists had gone, they killed, all that happened. So even in a country where democracy is not there and complete iron control is there, things can go wrong. Now, I want to quote that like a football. I saved 10,000 goals, but the one I allowed to happen is remembered as a monumental failure. Same thing about Baisaran, madam. I am not by any stretch of imagination reducing the importance of that, but only I want to say foolproof sometimes is not by lack of imagination by the agencies, lack of involvement. For example, here, when they knew they were going, you can't say we didn't know people were going there. And we should have had, somebody should have said, we have to deploy this manpower, and it should have happened. Okay, now 10,000 places they have done this. They have succeeded in
that's all they need.
But we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
We talk about the failure.
The failure. I'm afraid that's how the world moves.
I fully subscribe to that.
So, finally, one question. When we talk about intelligence gathering and human and techint, the combination of these two things have improved in Mumbai since you superannuated.
I am afraid techint has gone up and human has gone down. I want to say on record that most of the intelligence from human came from the minority community to me. So we can't blanketly say that they were not with us. Much of the human, about all these gangsters I'm talking about, came from them, who were part of the gangs, who were working with the gangs and things like that. And that time, technology exposure of technology wasn't there, whatever was there. For example, IC814, when Hemant Karkare working in RW walked into my office, gave a number which was talking to Kandahar directly. We could not locate it for 3 days, 2 days, 4 days. It took humongous effort of deployment of the entire crime branch and locate that guy who was talking to them directly. And then we tracked. I arrested Pakistanis, recovered AK-47, TNT shells. Then Nepalese recovered $10,000.
IC814.
IC814.
What were you doing at that time? Tell me again.
I
what
was
happened?
joint CP crime.
So
Please read the book.
That's what I got it only yesterday.
You read it. As the guys were there and they had not removed that balaclava cap, their identities were not removed. We detected it here by tracking a fellow who was talking to them and giving them all the help, and he asked for money. We tracked him, housed him, arrested. We raided a place in Bashir Bagh. 3 Pakistanis were arrested. AK-47s and ammunition and TNT shell was recovered. In Jogeshwari, Nepali couple had Glock pistols and hand grenades. In Malad, Pakistanis were operating. We arrested. And we gave the pictures through Hemant Karkare to Delhi. Mr. L.K. Advani showed in the TV. These are the guys who had that Hindu names in that thing. They had the same Hindu names they used in the movie. They have obtained passports. That is again a problem of this mafia and terrorism coming together. I'm sure they have taken help of the local sleeper cell to get those Indian passports in Hindu names. We detected it. And it came on the TV. Mr. L.K. Advani came before they were removed, before they removed that cover. Yes, we did. That one of them is that Captain Attar, who is brother of that Masood, infamous Masood. 3 of them were let off from Kashmir. His brother was here. He took 2 passports with a gap of 2 days. So that is the weakness, gap in our security system, where mafia and terrorism and national security are overlapping.
Okay. And you feel that human has gone down and techint has gone up, and there needs to be that Khabri network.
The supporting thing I must give you, for having said a thing, is when a conspiracy takes place or any Naxal or any other thing, for a human to tell us takes a lot of time and risk. Whereas if I can put a bug in the room, or if I can trap their telephone, or if I can have their access to email, then the advanced intelligence is fabulous for us. So I'll prefer more of tech. See, for example, all the satellites looking at the signals going cross-border and all that, which our agencies are deploying, thousands of crores are spent. Like the Navy, Coast Guard. I mentioned about 2611 preparation. Government of India poured thousands of crores to improve Navy and Coast Guard. So all these people use tech intelligence and they depend upon it. And the difference, ma'am, is that the human can be little delayed because of risk exposure, whereas tech intelligence is as it happens.
In spite of that, cybercrime is on the rise, in spite of tech int.
That is because they are more advanced in the usage of technology, and they are using 4 basic human psychological issues, madam. One is greed. All of us are greedy. When someone says gold can be purchased at a cheaper price, it turns out to be lokandi tukada, that is iron tukada. Because we want to double our money in 6 months' time. Recently, Mumbai Police registered a case in Dongri where someone said, I'll double your money in 6 months' time. Oh Allah, how can anybody do that? But people believe, and crores of rupees. For example, this, greed, lust. Everyone is suffering, from the child to 75, 80-year-old people. Many of the IAS officers are victims of cybercrime. 25% of the loss. You know what is the loss? 22,282 crores in 2024 is a cybercrime loss. Recorded. Unrecorded, sharam ki, kisi ne guna dakal nahi kiya, that account is not in this. Okay, coming back, greed, lust, anger, fear. Fear is that FedEx case, where I say narcotics has come in your name, there is a parcel lying in my office, Nipto, NDPS mein tumko andar dala to 10 saal nahi aayega. That is the thing. So cyber criminals are using psychology where our weaknesses are there, and remove your clothes, and Meta woman comes and then people talk, they record and say, now this your nude picture, I'm going to send it to all your contacts.
Oh my God.
They are advanced in technology, advanced in psychology. They know you are going to be vulnerable for what? Me, if as a target, will I be afraid of something? Will I be suffering from the lust factor, or greed factor, or anger factor?
But they seem to know a lot about people. Like what I've heard is that these plane loads of cyber coolies, terrible word, but cyber coolies who've been taken to Indonesia, Burma, all these places,
Myanmar, Cambodia, Myanmar,
and they are working from those places. They know the Indians, they know how to talk, they sound, and they know that inke bacche hain, and then things like your daughter's in hostel, this is her photograph, it's a morphed photograph, she's with another man, she's this thing, so you give this money, otherwise we'll leak it out to your community. This is all, they know the intel.
All will come under that 4 buckets which I told you. Greed, fear, lust, anger. You please think about it later. Greed, fear, lust, anger, all these 6. Why are the cyber coolies doing it? They are under force. They have been taken away with a lucrative offer of a job. When they go there, they are asked to do this. They don't have their passports to escape. They can't do anything about it because they are under captivity.
Yeah.
They are slaves.
This is also the job of the Ministry of External Affairs to get them back. If we are rescuing people who have been, who've gone through the donkey route, then these people are also part of that.
Rescuing them from Yemen or Kuwait and all that is gives you a lot of publicity, do good factor and all that. I was the immigration officer when the Kuwaiti Indians returned. So all that movie which they made, I was I was the one who was here. There was
Bell-bottom, I think.
Mascarenas, who was the Air India director here. He was working for a mother end. We worked in tandem. We received all the Malayalis, Tamils and others. We sent them without papers, with papers. All that we did. That was a fantastic
But I think also educating people about this cybercrime is extremely important.
I do
now.
Every week 3 lectures on cyber. I issue cyber safety warning, all free of cost I am doing. But people hardly listen. People hardly apply. I
Because
told you about a
everybody
lady.
thinks कि दूसरे को होगा. अपने को नहीं होगा.
No, no.
We are so smart, we are so intelligent.
No, madam.
Others will
अपने
get
को जब
fooled.
होता है ना, तब these highly educated, most intelligent people don't reach out to anybody. I gave you the example of a lady who is a CEO of a multinational company. Over 2 months, she paid 25 crores. She could have just told anybody. For example, I'll give you. Some IPS officer who was DG of jails in a particular state was on digital lockup for 3 days. So now there is nothing called digital arrest at all in law. There is nothing called digital arrest. But then how people imagine that recently you saw 77 crores a old man paid for being digitally locked up for the longest time. Simple thing. Hell with you, switch off. That is the only solution.
Okay, that's a good one. So those listening, please don't think that age and experience makes you wiser. Not true. You can be vulnerable too, as we've just heard. But thank you so much, sir, for giving me the time and speaking to me. And since I got the book only yesterday, now I will sit to read it, and we'll have a part 2 as soon as you can come to Delhi next time.
I'll come. Let me know, I'll come.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you for watching or listening to this edition of the NI podcast with Smita Prakash. Do like or subscribe on whichever channel you've seen this or heard this. Namaste. Jai Hind. Click here to watch the previous episodes.